Does a national championship victory change Jim Harbaugh's future, either coaching at Michigan, go into the NFL? And what's the deal with his contract extension that seems to be has been rumored for well over 2 months now? That's the question from Carl coming in on Twitter. The first question here today on the Michigan Football Report. We will get to that in our Michigan Football Burning Questions. As folks, we're 18 days away. 18 days away from Michigan, Alabama. The team is in full practice swing once again. And we're in full swing for Christmas, presented by Manscaped. If you need a Christmas gift for somebody for the holidays, go to manscaped.com. They've got an amazing line of men's grooming products and a couple of new releases that you got to know about. Manscaped.com. Use promo code GOBLUE, no spaces, GOBLUE, 20% off and free shipping. And while you're down there, click on that Manscaped link. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We are 109 subscribers away from 30,000, a major milestone for us here on YouTube. So back to question from Carl. Basically, I think there's two things to answer here. Number one, the contract is seemingly all the big points are done. The sticking point, which I talked about on Wednesday's show, was NFL language. I don't blame Michigan, and I blame Michigan for a lot of things. I don't blame Michigan if they put termination language that says if Jim Harbaugh goes and either interviews, right, let alone takes an NFL job, he is financially penalized in some way, right? Even like $10 million penalty or something like that. Maybe even something like that where, if he interviews behind Michigan's back, there's some sort of financial penalty clause. And you don't want a relationship like that really in sports or anywhere in life, right? Imagine if your wife's out there just taking dates with guys. Now they're not hooking up. They haven't accepted the job offer yet. But, hey, she's out there, doing her thing. You don't want that. That's what the marriage for. That's what the contract's for with Jim Harbaugh. And if he is holding that back, if Jim Harbaugh's saying, hey, I don't want that in there, ding, alarm bells are going off, right? It's like, hey, let me see your phone. Let me look at your text messages. No, you can't do that. Alarm bells go off. And I think that's kind of happened here with Jim Harbaugh. Now, on the national championship front, Bruce Feldman, who is, on Fox, I think he's kind of a schmuck sometimes, but he was on Rich Eisen's show yesterday. He said if Harbaugh does win a national championship, he thinks he's gone for sure because his stock will never be higher. And, of course, he will have got the job done at Michigan at the highest level. Will now want to go back to the NFL, go for a Super Bowl championship, which he came, a couple passes away from doing so in the 2012 season, lost to his brother John. So contract seems to be in front of Harbaugh of the major points on money, on name, image, and likeness, use and things like that. The thing that's holding him back is buyout clause and guaranteed language on both sides, whether Michigan were to fire him or Harbaugh were to leave, who's paying who what. That's the holdup now. Again, remember, December 25th, we're 11 days away from what I think is the cutoff for Harbaugh to sign an extension with Michigan, or he'll go pursue an NFL job. Next question coming in from David YV60W on the YouTube channel. He says, how did Carson Barnhart go from being the best offensive lineman on the team, which is what Jim Harbaugh, which is what all the rumors were in fall camp as the season started, to struggles of late? Injuries, what is it? Will the line be healthy, including Miles Hinton for the Rose Bowl? Here's going to be the starting lineup for the rest of the season, barring any injuries. Hinton got injured against Maryland, and he's only played, 3 snaps since, right? Did not play against Ohio State, only played 3 snaps against Iowa. So he suited up against Iowa, but Trente Jones still got the starting nod. So I would expect, since he took those snaps against Iowa, that a month later he will be ready. Now, things could change, right? Trente Jones was a backup this year for a reason, right? Carson Barnhart was out there at right guard, Miles Hinton right there. They think that this is the best 5, right? The other alternative would be to push Barnhart back out to right tackle and slide Miles Hinton there at right guard. I don't think that's the right option. I don't think that's the right best 5 on the field. Barnhart's natural position is at the guard spot. So if he is playing at the guard spot, I think we get better performance out of him, right? He's not big enough. He's not fleet of foot enough to be out there on the outside. We saw that against Penn State. We saw that about Chop Robinson. Basically blew him off the line every time Michigan went back to pass in the first quarter, first half of the second quarter. And in a lot of ways, Michigan decided, we can't even try to pass anymore. Some of that was because of their right tackle position there. Carson Barnhart couldn't get it done, and it's going to be just exasperated with more poor play on the outside against a team like Alabama and a pass rusher like Dallas Turner. So keep on the inside as long as you can get good play on the outside from Trente Jones. Maybe Miles Hinton will go out there. We will see. Down Zach Zinter, first-team All-American by basically everybody at this point. Zach Zinter, Carson Barnhart being back on the inside. I think of the available players you have, because really wouldn't take Zinter off the guard position, but he's injured. He's not going to play for Michigan anytime this season. If that is the case, that's going to be the case the rest of the season. Barnhart being in the inside, I think gives Michigan their best 5. Let's take a look at this matchup. Michigan, Alabama. It is now a pick'em. The big money has been coming in on Alabama, and as such, it's gone from like a 2.5 point spread to a 2 to 1.5, and then over the past few days, it's gone down to a pick'em. Over/under is still 45.5 points. It'll be the early game because the Rose Bowl is always played at 2 o'clock Pacific, 5 o'clock Eastern. I'll ask you guys this question. Switch it up a little bit. I think the running game is going to be paramount in this game, just like the game against Ohio State. Will Michigan have 140 rushing yards? Give me an over or an under, right? So you make the choice. I'm putting the number at 140. Against Alabama, over or under. And hell, if you want to add some thoughts on there on what the game plan is to get there without Zach Center, you guys let me know. But don't go down and comment over or under 140 yards in this matchup. How about this question? Switching gears a little bit. Daniel Van de Bunt asks about Ohio State. Kyle McCord, Julian Fleming, 2 5-stars in the transfer portal. Is OSU falling apart, or is this just meh? I'm going to answer that question in a second, but did want to tell you more about our sponsor, and that is Manscaped. Santa Baby, the season for a fresh cut is finally here with the sponsor of today's show. Of course, that is Manscaped. The leader in below-the-waist grooming just launched their 5th-generation performance package to help you avoid another silent night in the bedroom this year. Take care of the fellows in your life with a Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, which I've talked about for the past month and a half or so. I was one of the first people to get it. It's included here in the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra. One of the great stocking stuffers of all time. Manscaped is your one-stop shop for all the holiday needs of the guys in your life. The Performance Package 5.0 Ultra includes, and let me just walk through these things, the Lawnmower 5.0, the Weed Whacker 2.0, the Crop Soother Ball Aftershave Lotion. Sam, you use that. I know you do. The Crop Preserver Anti-Chafing Ball Deodorant, the Magic Mat Disposable Shaving Mats, and Boxers 2.0 Midnight Bravo, and the Shed 2.0 Toiletry Bag. I take that bad boy with me everywhere. I put all my toiletries in it. Fits right in the back of my suitcase, my carry-on. An absolute great bonus with this package. Now, if you buy all these things separately, which you can do with the Manscaped website, it's $257.93. $139.99 is the price of this package. Plus, you get 20% off by using promo code GOBLUE. Gets you down to $111.99. I'm no math expert. That's like almost $150 off using promo code GOBLUE. It's the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra. If that's too big of a budget for you, they got all the grooming packages individually you can buy as well. 20% off. Manscaped.com. Promo code GOBLUE. Get your holiday shopping done today for the guys in your life. Toss some of these as a stocking stuffer. Manscaped.com or promo code GOBLUE. Link is down in the comments and the description of today's Michigan Football Report. Keep this show rolling about this Buckeye exodus. Now, Daniel Van de Bunt asked the question, and Ohio State's leading the Big Ten right now, as of Thursday morning at least, with the most players in the transfer portal. We're talking about double-digit guys, but it's not just scrubs. It's not just afterthoughts, right? They have got, a 4-star running back. I can't remember his name, Evan Pryor, right? He got injured last year. He didn't play the last couple of years. He's gone. They're starting quarterback, Kyle McCord, and they haven't made any inroads with any of the quarterbacks that are out there, the Cam Wards of the world. Who else is out there right now? Sam, Dylan Gabriel, clearly, Dante Moore, etc. Transfer portal has been going on for over almost about 2 weeks right now, week and a half, and they haven't had a quarterback come in, so we'll see how that shakes out. But they're losing a lot of guys, right? Of their top 5 running backs, as of right now, 2 haven't declared elsewhere, either transfer portal or the NFL. Travion Henderson being one of those 2. I think he's likely to go to the NFL. You got a starting wide receiver in Julian Fleming. So 5 or 6 guys who would have been definite contributors next year leaving this Buckeye football team, and they have yet to make a big splash on incoming guys. So we'll see. We'll see how this shakes out. But I think that this Cotton Bowl game on December 29th here in Dallas, where I live, I won't be there because I'm going to the Rose Bowl, right? College football playoff perhaps, no big deal. It's going to either galvanize, means like, hey, Ryan Day made the right choice, chasing those guys out of town. He should have started Devin Brown the entire way. What I think is going to happen is Devin Brown is going to go like 11 of 28 for 175 yards, 2 or 3 interceptions, not be the kind of player that the Ohio State fans think he's going to be, which is the backup quarterback. Always the most popular guy in the team if you're not performing at the highest level. Clearly, Kyle McCord wasn't Justin Fields or C.J. Stroud when it came to putting up the big passing numbers, and as such, he became the scapegoat of that team. If Devin Brown doesn't absolutely blow it up, Ohio State, by the way, now 2.5-point underdogs to Missouri with all the guys who are opting out or transferring like that. If they look like junk against Missouri, if they lose that game, I think the offseason for Ohio State is going to be as toxic as possible with a quarterback leaving with a year of eligibility and 3 straight losses to Michigan, potential loss to a Missouri team, which frankly Ohio State thinks is a school that is beneath them. It's going to be fun. What I hope doesn't happen is that they absolutely crush Missouri and Devin Brown looks great. That would be bad for Michigan. And, of course, that would galvanize the Ohio State fan base to think, hey, we're coming back coming to you for Michigan in 2024. Bill Graves, my man, a longtime viewer of the show, says, would you like to use more RPO, run-pass option against Alabama or something else to open up the offense? And it's going to be tough to score on this Alabama team, right? They have 4 players on the defensive side of the ball that have first or second team All-American, AP All-American that was just announced this week. Dallas Turner coming off the edge. He's going to be the best edge rusher, him and Chop Robinson, Michigan has seen this year. Better than JT Tuamala, whatever his name is, right? First team cornerbacks at both positions, right? 2 of 3 guys at the cornerback position that got named first team by the AP poll. Kool-Aid McKinstry and Terrion Arnold. Okay, then you've got a true freshman, Caleb Downs, safety, second team All-American, was first team by some publications. So Caleb Downs is an interesting one because he has come on so big this year, especially the second half of the season, at the safety position. 99 tackles. If you look at his game logs, it's like 11 tackles, 13 tackles, 9 tackles, 7 tackles, 11 tackles. It's insane how good of a player this top 10 recruit from this recent class has performed for them, being a second-team All-American by the AP, first by some other publications, as a true freshman, is frankly kind of unprecedented. Our Alabama guy here at Chat Sports, Chris Daughtry, he said he's the best Alabama freshman at any position since Minka Fitzpatrick, who was also a top 10 recruit about a decade ago or so, was also a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. So I think Downs is one that you really got to keep your eye out for because he can come down and play the ball. Ton of tackles this year. He also is a ball hawk there back in the secondary. Keep talking more on this game. Before we talk about how to approach Alabama, ask you guys this question. Are you headed to Pasadena for the Rose Bowl? I just booked a couple days ago. Got my flights. I'll be in California for 6 days. I think it's the 28th through the 3rd, whatever it is. Give me a yes or a no, Y or N down in the comments. The people who type Y, I'm going to hit you up, right? You're buying me a beer, so let me know Y or N. There has been some success against this Alabama defense, some success from other quarterbacks, most notably Jaden Daniels, okay? The Heisman Trophy winner, you'd expect him to have a big game. Unfortunately for him, in a losing effort, but most notably, 11 carries, 163 yards rushing. So J.J. McCarthy, although not as fleet of foot, is certainly not slow, not maybe as fast as Jaden Daniels, but 163 yards on the ground and only 11 carries, a long of 40 for the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. I think to me that means that J.J. McCarthy might be able to do some damage. Now, J.J. McCarthy's legs, running the ball, right, getting extra yards, but also running out and making passes, against Ohio State, down the sideline, Cornelius Johnson, across the middle, Cornelius Johnson, over top to a tight end or two. Those were the kind of plays that kept the chains moving when Michigan needed every single yard to hold on, especially down the stretch of that game, that 7-minute drive in the fourth quarter to hold on and win. It's going to be like, I think, the difference in the game. If JJ's making plays with his legs, if he can get a couple 10, 12, 15-yard runs, if he can get out there and complete 6 to 8 passes in this game outside of the pocket to receivers coming off their routes, Michigan might be able to score enough points, 24 or more, what I think, to get a victory on this team. But teams have done it through the air, right? On Alabama. Go back to the second game of the year. Quinn Ewers, who's an All-American player as a recruit, etc. I think JJ's a better quarterback than him, but he plays in maybe a more quarterback-friendly offense. 38 pass attempts, 349 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions. So people have done it against this Alabama defense, right? They've got the 4 All-Americans, 3 of them in the secondary, but Michigan's got a hell of a secondary too, right? Makari Page is a hell of a playmaker. Rod Moore, I think, could have been an All-American this year, but missed the first 3 or 4 games. Will Johnson is a second-team All-American. Mike Sanderson was named first-team All-American cornerback, one of 2 by ESPN just this morning in their first-team All-American. So Michigan's got the talent back there, but Alabama, I think, Michigan's guys are like Zach Zinter, Mike Sanderson, and some others are getting in there in some regards because of their play, where some of these Alabama guys, I think, are getting in there less for their play sometimes and their talent. And I know that might be a tough concept to uncover, but Alabama has a more talented team across the board. Michigan certainly does not have as much 5-star talent, as much first-round NFL draft picks. I think I looked at the latest ESPN mock draft, Sam. I think there was like 6 Alabama guys or 5 Alabama guys in the first round this year. So not the Alabama team of old. This is still a super talented group. 244 yards, though, for Auburn against Alabama on the ground. And I want to pull up these numbers because it wasn't just all the running backs by any means. Alabama got it put onto them by Auburn, by the running backs and by the quarterbacks. As I'm going to pull this up. I just had it up, but I clicked off it, I think. I want to tell you guys the stats. So in the box score for this game, and you know the quarterback at Auburn was Peyton Thorne, who was Michigan State's quarterback last year, okay? Peyton Thorne, 15 carries for 57 yards. Damari Alston, 10 carries for 85, and Jarquez Hunter, 14 carries for 93 yards. They also had another player get 12 yards rushing, 244 rushing yards on 42 carries, 2 touchdowns. The 3 players, though, the 3 at the top, a running back with a 42-yard run, a running back with a 56-yard run, and Peyton Thorne, who I never thought had any running ability, at least from what I saw against a team like Alabama, a 22-yard run for him. So Michigan can look at those tapes. Auburn running the ball. LSU running and passing the ball. Texas passing the ball. Despite not having maybe all the skill position players, it is possible to score on this Alabama defense. Was told by my Alabama guy, best Alabama defense is 2015, the team that won the first national championship for Alabama in the CFP era. Keep it rolling here. Where's your game plan for Jalen Milroe? His legs are the only thing that scares me. That should be the only thing that scares you, right? There's 2 things that he does well, and one of them being different than what Michigan's seen. He runs the ball, but it's not always on design runs. It is when you're maybe not expecting it on passing plays. And then he passes the ball deep pretty well. Anything intermediate, he doesn't do as well as a lot of quarterbacks that Michigan's faced. Certainly the quarterbacks at the top of college football they've faced over the past few years. Those are his stats there. More passing yards than J.J. McCarthy, more passing touchdowns. He also has 12 rushing touchdowns. So kind of for 35 different touchdowns this year, 500 yards rushing on the season. He's their most dangerous weapon, Milroe is, for me at least. He's the most dangerous when he runs from passing plays, right? He is most dangerous when it's a passing play that has been called. He makes one look, and it's kind of what he is. He's a one-look kind of guy, and then just takes off running, right? Gets 10 yards, get 8 yards, get 12 yards. You know who that sounds like to me? That kind of sounds like a certain Ravens quarterback, Lamar Jackson, okay? And I think that the Raven coaches, and this has been rumored, I haven't been able to confirm myself, they're going to tell Jim Harbaugh, they're going to tell Jesse Minter, who used to work there a few years ago, this is the kind of defense that gives our quarterback at the Ravens, gives us struggle, right? That gives Lamar Jackson struggles. And if that's the case, Michigan should go into it with at least a blueprint from direct knowledge of the Ravens coaching staff of how other teams have shut them down. Certainly Alabama has coaches, too, that are making a lot of money. They can game plan against that. But a pass rush with the front 4 for Michigan is key. It's absolutely key. You can't have to rush 5 and 6 guys because if one of those goes past Milroe, then he's got room to run, right? You got to get pressure on him with four guys and get him to go against. I think if he's looking at the line right now, right? Right side's the strong side, right? Come at him from the strong side. Make him run to his left, and so he's got to throw away from his body to make those throws going to be less effective, in my opinion, for this Alabama offense. The thing that we want to talk about, though, for Michigan's defense is whether or not they will spy Jalen Milroe, right? Are they going to have someone like Mike Sanderson or Rod Moore, or hell, even an Ernest Hausman or something like that, specifically kind of mirror him 6 yards behind the line? He goes left, he goes left, he goes right. What that does for Michigan is allows them to reduce the amounts of scrambled, broken pass plays that go for 12 yards or 18 yards or 7 yards. But what it also does is take a defender off the field to cover 5 receivers or 3 tight ends and 2 receivers and running back, people going out of the field to catch passes. It's going to be a hell of a defensive effort for Michigan to completely shut down this Alabama offense, but this is not the Alabama offense of 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 7 years ago. It's a completely different one. And I think, frankly, Michigan has shown that they can shut down and beat better offenses. This one just maybe presents a different kind of challenge. If you guys made it to the end of today's video, let me know by commenting Go Blue. We're going to continue to analyze this game going up the next 18 days. So comment Go Blue. I'll get into the comments and let you know that I see it. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. We will be back with another Michigan football report, probably either Saturday or Sunday. Till then, Go Blue.